For the last year and a half, I have been constantly challenging myself in building. The first challenge I ever did was to make an organic, and ever since then I have been loving organics. So the challenge for today is to make an organic that is dynamic, but it also has to be very detailed. And these two things I really know I need to improve, and that's why they're my challenge. And little did I know that this challenge was gonna help me create the best quality organic I've ever done. Everything started with one block of glass, and by using voxel sniper I can inspat it into a weird shape that I can work from. Often when I create my organics while people are watching, people comment that they look bad, which is obvious. Of course the organic will look trash at first. You probably looked pretty bad when you were a work in progress. The basic layout of the organic is basically just a sketch. You gotta trust the process, man. The start will always look trash because you can't just magically create the perfect shape immediately. As you can see, this sketch is definitely not perfect, but I need to start somewhere, and this is a great start. To be honest, I expected more trial and error with the back legs, but I guess I just fluked them first try, which was kinda surprising to be honest. Just look at them, the basic shape is so good. At this point I wasn't completely happy with the shape of the head, so I went back to it hoping that it would get solved. Just because I used a reference pic didn't mean I had to make the shape just like it. A big part of the fun in building is the designing part, and with that in mind I removed the whole head and redid the shape. This time it looked better, so I added the ears and started the antlers. I wanted to add some fur at the front of the build, just like in the reference picture. I learned that you can use fence gates, trapdoors, and maybe even pressure plates. With those you can create shapes that look like curves. Using these techniques I managed to get really nice shapes on the face, ears and fur. And oh man, the fur took so long to make, it was actually melting my brain. I finally finished my stair and slab session by making the tail of the deer. I tried to make it float with the deer and then flow with the whole shape. Finally the fur and all was complete, and we can now move on. Back to the front legs. I did some pretty small changes before I colored them, but this shape changing wasn't the last one for the front legs. This was just the beginning. I finished the overall coloring for the deer, and then I was happy. I gotta say that the ears were the most fun to build out of everything. It was just something about the texturing and shaping that was really fun to do. I felt like this was an amazing opportunity to practice my detailing skills, since that was one of the challenges for the build. Almost all of my previous organics were pretty flat, shaping wise, and the reason for that is probably because I find myself not doing much detailing by hand, so this is where I know I can improve. But it wasn't just the detailing that I could improve on, the shaping as well. The back legs I absolutely loved, but the front legs, I didn't like at all. I needed a break. And then the building competition started. I chose to do 3XU's terrain building competition, and I gotta say this has to be the absolute biggest procrastination project I've ever done. It's so large I could probably fit all my biggest sculptures inside the terrain area. Wait, can I fit all of my biggest organics inside of here? Okay, so here on a line right here I have all my biggest organic builds. And behind me right here is the terrain for the building competition. And I really want to put all of these organic builds inside of the terrain. I'm just gonna start with the bubbles one. I think I'm gonna put it like right here in the center. Okay, let's grab the second one. Oh, the lag. That's cool. Okay, the next one, which is the Angry Bird. I think I'm gonna put it right over here on the right side, so it can look down right at us. Ooh, that looks really cool. And the last one is the Kite Runner. I think I'm gonna put her on the left front side. I'm just gonna put it right here in the open spot over here. Now everything is in place. I'm just gonna up my render distance so I can see everything. Ooh, there we go. I like how everything kind of fits into the build, which I didn't expect at all. But I guess I have some kind of cohesive style amongst all these builds. But yeah, now you can really see how huge this terrain is. But enough procrastinating building. I gotta get back to my deer. Since I was a little bit stuck, I asked multiple people what they thought was the problem.
Already looks better.
Yeah, that looks more natural.
Yeah, now you just got like
maybe you just have to move one forward and one more backwards. Like right now you're moving both of them forward, it seems.
Yeah, I mean if you
true. What if I just move this one back?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that might work out. Or the other one just seemed like you're moving both of them forward if that was the problem in the first place.
And after a few hours of discussing with a whole bunch of people, I finally knew what was wrong. You see this right here? It goes back and then forward. This is exactly why you should look at anatomy before doing the build. Do some research. And by adding that, it immediately fixed it. Now the pose makes sense, and I'm finally happy with the shapes. One of the builders that gave me some feedback was IRT Dome. One thing he taught me is that glass paints has two more uses than I knew previous. The first one was that glass paints can help with the shaping, and second, it could also hide that shadow in the edges of the blocks. This is what makes it look much smoother. So now I could replace the sandstone walls that I used before with the white stained glass. Since I redid the front legs, I colored them, and then the deer was actually complete. But we can always add some more stuff to make it feel more polished. I did get an idea to have the deer floating above a landscape.
What?
I made a few loft designs, but then after a while I just scrapped the whole idea and thought of a different one. What if I can make swirls instead? They can add the flow that I want, and I'm sure it will look cool as well. With that idea, I made two huge swirls that could look like wings or something. But they had one problem. They covered the tail where they were situated, and I couldn't really move them to a different position, so I just had to think of something else. What if I just have the swirls below the deer, like what I did with the loft commands? And that worked pretty well, and it also helped with the fantasy pose vibes. Since I already have made those huge swirls, I could just move them down to the bottom of the whole build. It was looking a little bit empty, so I added some more swirls onto the main ones. Then it was just some finishing touches and the whole build was complete. But the build wasn't the only thing that was complete. The mission was also complete. If you want to download this build, you can through my Patreon. The link is in the description, and this is a tier 3 build. You can also join my Discord, or you can join the bakery Discord. You can choose a little bit which one you want to join. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe.